number 286. I'm Dan Hammond.
And I am Rogue Schindler.
This week, we will be discussing a few of the cards that were released on release day for Face of the Enemy. Plus, we'll talk about Time Trap, the animated series episode, and the end of season 1. I think that's it. So, shall we just jump in?
Yeah.
What would you like to start with then?
Well, let's start with the bad.
Well, from you, that could be 2E, or it could be the animated series. I don't even know anymore.
That'll tell you. That should be I guess, a scale that this episode was not good.
There were not good things. I mean, there were interesting things, but not overall.
It was not strong.
No, not strong. It's interesting that this was pushed back to be the season finale, according to Netflix, whereas the Jihad, which was what we talked about last week, was the official season finale, episode number 16. I don't know why they did that. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, there were some interesting things. I liked seeing the Bonaventure, the look like snub-nosed Constellation class that was listed as the first warp ship. Clearly, this was from a long time ago, before they thought about Enterprise. The disappearing into a pocket dimension, kind of Bermuda Triangle type thing, was interesting. I mean, that's an interesting place to start.
The Delta
Triangle.
The Delta Triangle, not going to stray too far from our source material.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
So, the Enterprise is off sent to survey this place where ships disappear, which I think has happened before in this very season, hasn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I think it has.
Yeah. So anyway, it worked out well for them last time, so why not do it again, right? They're gonna go look and chart the area. Maybe turn up the missing ships. Sure. So they do, and there's Klingons there. Apparently, there are 3 Klingon ships there that haven't disappeared, which is weird. That was never really explained.
It just happened to be there at the same time for no apparent reason.
They exchange fire, and the Klingon ship disappears. So there's 2 more Klingon ships that are going to fire on the Enterprise. The Enterprise says, well, the Klingon ship went somewhere. We're outgunned, so let's go where they went.
Through no scientific basis whatsoever, because, as they note, the scanners and sensors have been inoperable and chaotic and not really helpful the entire time they've been here, which is what they say at the beginning of the episode, at which point Kirk then says, Spock, what are you getting on sensors? And Spock says, nothing, you idiot, because the sensors aren't working. I just told you.
So they go to, apparently they could still figure out where that ship was, so they go where it was and they disappear, right? And then the sensors are out. Sulu passes out, but apparently gets up and back to his seat very quickly, because in the next frame he's back in his chair. Yeah. And then they're in the pocket dimension, which is not really. They keep hinting that it was time travel, but really it's just an unknown alternate universe they're kind of hinting at.
Yeah,
it's very weird. They didn't really do a good job with that of explaining.
And like, but time. We will suspend you by freezing your ship for a century. Oh God, we'll all die. Why would you do that? Oh no, it's okay, because here, a century is as nothing.
Yes, so really there is no penalty.
Well, then why is that a penalty? That doesn't make any. But by the way, we're all very old, but we're not old because time just passes differently here. And they keep saying these like cryptic phrases that are meant to implicate like a variation in time passing, but they like directly contradict each other.
and yet they have to do this all in, they have to try to get out in 2 days because, the dilithium crystals are going to run out. But is that 2 days or is it 2 millennia? What's going on? Who knows?
And if their dilithium crystals, if their energy is going to run out in 2 days because of whatever happened by coming into this rift, how have all of these ships been here for thousands of years? Now
Yeah.
I liked that there were the concept of all of these ships having come here and been stuck together, and they've had to been forced to create this society. I thought that was very cool, and they had this whole council of all their different different races and species. And I very much liked when they came out into this little pocket dimension that it was not a fleet of like oriented ships. They were all askew and floating and bizarre because space.
Yeah, and I liked when they saw the Bonaventure still had life readings on board. They were like, "Well, they must be clearly next, several generations hence. They're still alive. They've been keeping on before they realized that time has no meaning here, and it's probably the original crew." That was interesting.
Yes, and having another Federation ship here, or whether it's descendants or actually the original crew, I don't know, maybe a better choice to go and team up with if you need to find another ship to combine with, which is what their ultimate goal is. Like, well, we can't get out on our own, and the Klingons can't get out on our own. So clearly we need to bind our two ships together and join the power and get out, which means we're going to have to get over ourselves and actually work together, which is cool. Nice concept, and I'm sure that was the ultimate goal of the episode. But logically, there's a Federation starship right there.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
They never try to hail them. They never try to find out anything about them. They
No.
never even look back. Hey, why don't you guys come with us? We're gonna escape.
No, the only person they try to bring back is the slave girl who wants to see Orion again, right?
Yeah. Well, Kirk.
Well, Kirk. Yeah. On the plus side, I finally got to see the episode where a lot of triple images came from, right?
Yes, this is true. I was doing a lot of, ooh, that's where that shot's from. Ooh, that's where that shot's from.
And if we get a personnel, we can have the Orion girl, and she can download Seductive Dance because that's funny.
And really, that card needs to be downloaded because it's already really hard to play.
Yeah. All right. So the Klingons agree to the Klingons agree to help the Enterprise get out, but of course they have a secret plan to blow up the Enterprise with the magic red pill that Neo didn't take.
Yeah.
The Klingons they store. Apparently there was a mixer on the Enterprise, and there was a fist fight, and in the middle, the Klingon lady hid it in a cabinet, and as soon as they go to warp 8, it'll explode because it doesn't like going fast. I don't know. Wow.
As soon as this baby hits warp 8.
Yeah. And clearly they have their parties right next to the bridge, because later on it doesn't take any time for for Spock and Mr. Scott to just to walk there. I mean, it must have just been on the other side of the turbo lift. Open the door, find it, and then find the conveniently placed waste chute that just goes outside. That's where they put all their party trash.
Yeah. Whee! Eject.
So they go to warp. The telepathic alien, not kidnapper, calls the Enterprise, lets the Enterprise know that there's a bomb on board. If they make it to 80 miles an hour, they'll time travel or something. Kirk, Spock, and Mr. Scott eject it, and they make it through with the Klingons, and the Klingons are sad. Is there much else to the episode? Did I miss anything?
No, in fact, and that is exactly how abrupt the ending is. It's like, hey, we made it. Okay, bye. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, the Klingons broadcasted signal taking full credit for our escape. Well, that's okay, because that doesn't matter. You know what matters? This. We are home.
Space. Yes.
And that's the end. Like literally seconds after they get out, and that's like roll credits.
Yeah. Well,
maybe we should put up buoys and so people won't come here, even though it's very well documented that people shouldn't come here.
Yeah, or I don't know. Now that we know how to get out, go back and rescue the people that are in there. Maybe they can share
Yeah.
their technology and awesomeness with the rest. No, we're just gonna leave. We'll be gone. See you later.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is the end of season 1, and is, I would say, a disappointing ending. But overall, I haven't hated this entire season. I think it started out slow. It got worse, and then it got better, and then there was a couple of really good episodes right in the middle, and then we're here. Would you say?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree in general. I have not yet completely regretted our decision to do this.
No, no. We still
And
have another 6 episodes.
Joy.
Yes. So we've got, like I said, another 6 episodes. The next episode is the Pirates of Orion, season 2, episode 1. And I see another time-ish episode called the Counterclock Incident, which I think I remember seeing some stills from and was horrified of. So that'll be something to end on, unfortunately. But
no.
the Pirates of Orion will be the next one. We'll talk about that probably next week. Um, if you've been, joining us on this, go ahead and comment on the YouTube thread or send us a note, section31 at danhammond.com, and we'll commiserate with you on the show next time. But I think that's it, unless there's anything else we want to talk about.
No, I think that's good. Oddly, I'd rather talk about Tui now.
All right, so we had our second edition set called Face of the Enemy, which we've been seeing spoilers for over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and finally it's out. Do you have a chance to look through all the different fun cards here?
Yeah, I skimmed through I think just about everything today, and there were definitely some cards that made me double take. Some interesting new things. Nothing that's pulling me back in, but definitely looking forward to hearing how they go.
Not even anything that has inspired you to make a deck. There's certainly one card, at least for me, that I think I've already posted on the boards that it's inspired me to pull out an old deck and revamp it. But anything that interesting to you?
I think the only two possibilities. Speaking of old decks to revamp, would be War Without End.
All right.
Because I always wanted to make a battleship deck.
Yes.
That could actually fight, and the Galaxy class is not meant for fighting. It's meant for, taking a punch and then running away. So having something that beefs up your AU ships and actually let you win a fight with that would be nice for once. So that made me happy. And then, of course, there's this big honkin' Defiant.
Yeah.
Which just kind of takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
That does look pretty fun, and it's TNG. So,
yeah. Oh man, TNG Defiant.
Yeah.
That makes
with the starboard nacelle starting to take a beating over there, and the cannons firing. Yeah. That is kind of nice. It's just every time it gets damage marker, it's just, it's fine. I don't care. Whatever. Most of them are -2, so that's perfect. In fact, it's only -2 to 1 or 2 attributes, right? So the other attribute gets better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on the subject of Defiant, the card that I saw and thought, well, there you go, is Pulling Rank. It's a 1-cost event.
Yes.
You play in your core, and all your admirals and generals are now also captains of the Defiant. So now you have the original 8 plus all the admirals and generals that you can drop in Federation, and there's at least 1 or 2 universals, like a Talar or something like that. So that's a lot of extra bodies that you can play in that Captain's Log deck, where no one can be randomly selected. And DS9 is particularly good at protecting their events. So you play a couple people, you're playing with one ship. There's a lot of fun cards in here that give you bonuses for just playing one big ship, and the Defiant certainly qualifies.
Yes.
I think I would go with Patrolling Warship. Is that the one that if anybody shows up, you're just stopped? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, nope. Hey, you're coming over to do something to me? No, you just sit there.
Not going to happen. Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'll probably put that deck back together again. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I don't think I won any tournaments with it, but I had a lot of good games, and I felt like I beat good players with it. And I think if I was going to come back, that's probably what I put together. That with like I said, the cards that let you that give you bonuses for playing with big ships, Miracle Working, lets you draw extra cards, and emergency evacuation lets you take people off your ship. So if you have got too many, you take them off.
Yeah.
You do your mission, you put them back on. Maybe if you got enough people for 2 attempts, you can hit it twice. And if you got to take some people off, the ship blows up for some reason. Maybe next turn, if it's still around, you put them back on again. I think that's probably what I'll put together, since I have the core of the deck already started. But I can see myself using a lot of new cards from this set, because that was one of the biggest problems. Is you play in the Defiant, it's a big ship, and there's a lot of penalties for playing with one big ship.
Yeah.
7, it's tough to staff, but some interesting carrots to go with in this set. So I think I'll give it a shot. If you could be convinced to return, it would be the TNG Defiant. Would you give that one a run?
Man, that's tough, because the patrol ship is so good, especially. I don't know how much of an effect it would have on. I'm just thinking of all the Romulan stuff that's coming at you now with the, oh well, I have my ship at your mission, I'm going to screw over your mission attempt. But say when an opponent ship moves to this mission, so even if it's on your turn and you're coming over to do stuff, you can stop your people. And in TUI, that means they're not there, right? But
Yeah, you can't be targeted. So
Yeah.
if you're using the downloader, it doesn't move the ship there; it just appears. So that the downloaded ship would not be stopped if you ran Imperial entanglements. But if you were following me on my turn with a blind spot or whatever, then as soon as you move there, you're stopped and you're out of luck.
So that could be a pretty big advantage. I mean, it's also tough not to try the TNG ship, just because it's so big, and it would, it not only just help you against fighting, but Gome 2 Shockwave or any damaging dilemmas. You can just, not just hang in a fight, but you can hang in a mission attempt.
Yep.
Maybe let you, not necessarily have to think about going back and repairing before continuing to attempt.
Yeah, that is the one downside of patrolling warship is it's only range 8, so you're running back and forth a lot. I guess that's not so bad with DS9 with the one span, but the other ships that this set promotes, like the Enterprise E, and some of the other big things with like range of 9, range of 10, that does sound very tasty for things like going to those big span missions and moving back and forth in one turn.
Crunchy.
Yeah. So anyway, I have been partially inspired, more like that. I've got some plans in my head. I haven't yet printed out the cards yet, so we'll see how that goes. That's next on my list. That's how you can tell this is really inspiring when it's already printed out and ready to go. But no, I think it's a good set. It should be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what people play, and back in my mind, that new Romulus does look like it'd be fun. So that's probably next.
It's pretty crazy. And all over the place. All right. Well, a very cool new set, and I do like that. Even though the big objection I've had with a lot of the recent releases has been, okay, this is the new thing everybody's going to play, and so everybody's going to immediately tech against it, so you're not going to get to really play the new stuff very well. Not really. I mean, you can a little bit prepare for it, but not heavily. You can't just easily gear your deck against some of the new things that are coming out in this, which I think is good. If some people are going to be playing Romulus, you can run the patrolling warship or something, but there's not a lot you can do about having other people at your missions. So that's not a big deal. There's not a lot you can do about knowing that somebody's going to bring the Defiant Magic Commander deck out of mothballs, other than tweak your dilemma pile.
Yeah, I would agree. There's not like it's not like the concept where everyone's just going to run all planet killers. Um,
Yeah.
it looks like you can pretty much play this with a lot of different affiliations. A lot of different affiliations got love. Um, you know, that you could probably tech a little against the Romulan show up at your mission and mess with your deck by building a 100 card deck instead of a slim 35 card deck, because you're going to be discarding a lot of cards to use your abilities and things, and just make sure you have a big hand when you go out. That will probably save you a lot of trouble. Maybe take a few extra intelligence personnel so Sayla doesn't turn off your personnel. But I think the trend has been it's tough to make a deck without event destruction, or interrupt prevention. So you can see some of the stuff being canceled that way, but that's not anything new.
Yeah. And now you've got man, what was it's one of these cards. Was it Miracle Working? It's like, no, I don't want you to have all those cards. Nope, that's not it. I don't remember. There was some event that was
I'm not sure.
Suppressed evidence where, yeah, you can keep 2 of those events, but why don't you bounce the rest of those to your hand?
Yeah, that's pretty rough. And that could be, the other deck, of course, that I have experience with is the Romulan, just massive number of events in the core. Yeah. And I saw that and I'm like, well, there you go.
And that doesn't the the card that lets you all your ships are at your opponent's missions only works if you have more events than your opponent. So this is a good counterattack to that, or a counterintelligence, I guess.
Exactly. I guess it doesn't work if you have a mission complete, but the whole point is to stop them on their original intent. So that's rough.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You're using that to slow your opponent down while you solve a mission. So, if they're devoting those resources too early, you can stymie them. So yeah, some interesting stuff, and hopefully it will be usable without too much of a penalty for trying to use the new cards. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what the next few tournaments have in store, and what we could do after this weekend, we can take a look at some of the events around that get posted. Take a look at some of the winning decks and see how many of the new cards actually get used. Right?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that works out.
Sounds good.
Speaking of local events, unfortunately, it's not a 2E event as far as this research goes, but we do have a 1E event this Saturday. So if you're around, come on out. It's actually sealed, so you do not have to have built a 1E deck, because if you're going to do that, you should have started 2 weeks ago.
Yes, no preparation required for this Saturday's Star Trek event, so it should be fun. It sounds like a lot of mirror universe action.
Indeed, and before that, actually, there's more Trek CC action happening online. We've got the period of review.
Yes.
In the morning, or our morning, for what do we support systems or something?
Organized play support programs is Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And Sunday is online Tribbles and the Continuing Committee, and that is Sunday at 2 p.m.
So 2 more periods of review this weekend.
Yep, I think that wraps it up. I think those are the last 2.
It is. Those are the last 2. So that'll wrap this up for 2015, and we'll start taking a look towards 2016.
Thanks. Yep, you're right.
So yeah, we'll have a full weekend of Trek. So I think by Monday, we will have plenty to talk about. Don't you?
Yep, sounds good. A tournament, couple of meetings, and another episode of the animated series, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Keep
on
trekking. So we'll talk about that on next Monday. But in the meantime, we'll hope you will check out your own Faces of the Enemy, or maybe have another local event, and then you can come and tell us about it, and we'll report about your tournament as well. In the meantime, I am Sir Rogue.
And I'm Sir Dan.
And I will remind you all to expand your power in the universe.
And I will draw to end.